Hi sunflowers and bloomers, it's Martina here at Bloom Beyond, and since it's my 25th birthday today, my 25th trip around the sun, I thought that I would share with you 25 lessons learned in 25 years. And I truly believe that, I chose to come here, to have this experience in this body, and to learn certain lessons and grow in certain ways to pass that on to others too. And I've found for myself that I'm truly here to help you activate your light, activate the sunflower and bloomer within. So that is the intention that I have with sharing these lessons with you. And I hope that they can add value to you. So definitely let me know in the comments which lesson resonates the most with you and which one you actually maybe needed to hear, right? So let's just dive in, shall we? The first lesson, and I've written them all down here so that we can grow through them and go through them together. The first one is that perfectionism is the greatest block to live a bright, brave, and balanced life. And that, a life of choice and intention is more meaningful over a life of, shoulds and have-tos. And what I mean by that is that, when you're stuck in perfectionism, you're driven by all these shoulds and have-tos, right? Being able to push, prove, and please, that is kind of what you're doing. And it's not meaningful, it's not fulfilling, and it actually drains you of a lot of energy. When you come back into alignment with the sunflower and the bloomer within, the light that you truly are, right, that is unique to you, everything changes. Once you tear down the perfectionism, take off the armor, and really connect with, the essence of you, right? And you start to live from a place of choice and intention in alignment with your values, not someone else's values, everything changes for you. Life just gets so much more easy and flowy, and life is hard enough as it is, right? But once you actually can bloom beyond perfectionism, it's just a little bit easier, right? And we would want that, wouldn't we? We would want it to be more, flowy, and we would want life to be more intuitive. And that is exactly what happens when you really start embodying the light and the sunflower and the bloomer that you truly are beyond perfectionism. The second lesson that I've learned is that cycles will repeat themselves until you learn a lesson fully. So this is a pattern that I've seen in my own life, and I truly believe that it's just the subconscious kind of reenacting things in your life, that you will constantly keep on attracting different events and circumstances into your life, and even people into your life over and over and over again, until you actually see the pattern and see what kind of lesson that you're meant to learn, grab a hold of it and integrate it, and then start to make different decisions from that point onwards. I've seen this to be the case in relationships, in work, in the relationship I have with myself as well. So this is something that is truly valuable to know. And so it shouldn't then be a surprise if you have certain cycles going on over and over and over again, and just see that as something that is totally natural. Instead of shaming yourself for having cycles repeat in your life, give yourself loving acts of kindness and compassion for that, and really just ask yourself, what am I meant to learn from this? How am I meant to grow from this, right? And just listen and tune inwards, and your answers will come from there. That's the second lesson. The third lesson is this one. Relationships are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and you can only truly recognize, what purpose this relationship kind of served in hindsight. This is something that I've found for myself, that, the relationships in my life have either been there for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And so instead of constantly striving to hold on to relationships and kind of force them to be something that they're not meant to be, or that I kind of fantasize about every single relationship that I have, both friendships and, these other relationships too, as well as, partnerships and family relationships as well, sitting there and striving for those to be and last for a lifetime, which most often they're not, it kind of gives you so much more room to just be with what is and accept that, right? And learn what you're meant to learn from the relationships. I say that, relationships are just meant to be mirrors in your life, right? Mirror where you are right now. Oftentimes we just attract that in which we are, the vibration that we're in. And sometimes you are meant to learn something from someone else, or they are meant to learn something from you, or both at the same time. And oftentimes you can only see that in hindsight, right? So that is the third lesson. The fourth lesson is this one. So the direction you go in is more essential to consider than the goals you set for yourself, right? What I mean by that is that the direction that you have, the intention behind which direction you're going in is more important, more essential than the actual end goal itself. So it's who you are growing into, who you are becoming on the journey towards realizing your intentions and goals that are definitely more fulfilling and more important to consider than the goals in and of themselves. Oftentimes you're asked what your goals are. Oftentimes you might not even know that, but you could know what kind of direction you want to go in. And what I mean by direction is just simply an intention, right? It could be a word, it could be a feeling, it could be a sense of curiosity. And if you just tune into that sense of curiosity and allow that to be there and follow that, that can create a sense of direction in your life, right? So for me, being able to kind of align my sense of direction with, creativity, that has been really helpful for me, because there has been times where I haven't really, where I haven't known or, come to the recognition yet what my true purpose was or what I'm here to do. And so just having that intention of knowing that I'm here to create and that creativity is a core value in my life, I've just allowed myself to create whatever I kind of felt like creating at that point in my life. So when I was younger, I created macrame and jewelry, and I got into photography. And at some point, that season kind of faded a little bit for me, and I wanted to start creating in other ways, creating value as far as being able to help others overcome perfectionism. And that became a thing for me, where I started then, dedicating large portions of my life and energy towards being there to hold space for others' growth, as well as creating programs and all of that. And so that kind of direction of creativity has always been there for me. So what's your direction, right? What is your word? Where are you going right now, right? And if you don't know that, then allow whatever it be to be, and the sense of direction can come and evolve as you'd please, right? You are already on your path. Trust that. Have faith in that. And then here's another lesson that I've learned. This is the fifth one. Inward growth is just as valuable and necessary as outward growth. So your sense of inward growth is definitely necessary as well, right? Oftentimes we put a lot of emphasis on outward growth, on, being out there, doing things, being visible. But I've found that a lot of the kind of action that I'm taking outwardly is more meaningful, more fulfilling to both me and others. When I've previously just stepped back and gone inwards and taken time for myself, taken time to align with what means something for me and grow from that place and grow outwardly from that place. So taking your time to rest and go inwardly and tune inwards and do healing work for yourself and with yourself, and having a coach, for instance, can really be powerful to also shoot you forward, outwardly. See? And I truly believe that there is some sort of connection there, and that, actually there's only growth. There's no such thing really as inward growth or outward growth. They're all connected. And so the more that you grow within, the more you'll grow without, because as above, so below, right? So that is another lesson that I've learned. And here's another one. So being patient and present can bring harvests that urgency and busyness never will. So allowing yourself to just be patient with wherever you are and being present with where you are is actually something that is really valuable. It opens you up to another level of creativity as well. And it allows kind of the universal intelligence to flow through you more when you are being patient, when you are trusting your divine timing, when you are here right now, right? And practicing kind of coming back from the past and the kind of future, to this present moment now, it allows you to act more mindfully as well, instead of constantly being occupied in busyness as well as having urgency. So instead of thinking that you're behind or that you should be somewhere else right now, and constantly feeling like you are not meant to be where you are right now, that something has been going wrong or that you've chosen wrong, recognize that that is perfectionism, right? Recognize that. And by the way, if you feel like this speaks to you, you can definitely apply to join the Bloom Beyond tribe with other sunflowers and bloomers to really create a life and business of freedom from perfectionism with the power of the subconscious mind. Because I do have offerings, both the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program and the Bloom Beyond Mastermind, that you could also join once you're in that tribe, right? So if this speaks to you, if you feel like you're kind of in this kind of busyness mindset and always striving for something and being really kind of occupied with urgency about things, I can definitely help you with that and support you through that, because I've been there. Trust me. That's how I've learned this lesson. So that's that lesson right there. Here's the 7th lesson. Starting foundations is everything. So starting foundations, that's basically kind of the first impression that you get on give to someone, as well as the kind of starting foundations of a relationship, as well as the starting foundations of your business. It's truly everything. It sets kind of a tone for what's ahead, and it's truly helped me, especially I would say in relationships, to be able to be clear on what my intention is going into the relationship, what my values are, what it is that I would want from a relationship, what it is that we could create together, right? Not just in a romantic relationship, but also friendships as well. I think that it also kind of takes more energy up front, but you kind of like save that energy from all the frustrations that you might have gotten down the path if you didn't pay attention to the starting foundation. So having deep conversations from the very beginning about, everything that matters to you, it is very, very essential, and it can really just kind of make everything more meaningful and fulfilling for you. So starting foundations are everything, and I would say that if you just align everything as far as, the relationships and the career and everything, of yours, to real clear starting foundations and principles and values, you feel more aligned, so to speak. Your energy is able to flow more fluently. So that is that little lesson right there. Then we have the the 8th lesson, which is building your life and business on your values and principles is what brings meaning, which is kind of what I just said, right? Knowing what your values are, what your principles are, really allows you to have a sense of direction, which I also touched upon, right? And it kind of allows you to wake up with a sense of knowing that you kind of feel aligned, right? And so being able to build your life and business from your values and from your principles, very, very helpful. Instead of looking outwardly at what everyone else is doing, how everyone else is designing their business, let's say, or how they are living their life, you tune inwardly and ask yourself, what are my values, right? What are my principles? And how do I want to design my life and business around that or on that? See, when you have, a sunflower, right? You plant the seed in fertile soil, you know what the values are in that soil profile, right? And you're going deep into the deepest kind of layer, the foundational kind of layer of the soil. Because obviously we've got different values. We've got the foundational values, and then we've got the surface level values and some values in between. And you want to really go deep. What are your foundational values that are non-negotiable, that you just cannot compromise? Oftentimes in a relationship, we say to ourselves, well, I should be compromising a little bit. But some values you are not meant to sacrifice. And oftentimes these do not change. They are fundamental to who it is that you are at your core and, the essence of who you are, right? So being able to know that, not only in relationships, but also in your business can really help. Like for me, for instance, with my business, I could obviously have looked at how everyone else is doing their business as far as like coaching is concerned, and kind of do the traditional way of kind of doing clarity calls and then doing one-on-one coaching and only doing that, right? And having some sort of like 12-week program. And I did that for a certain time until I recognized that that was no longer serving me or in alignment with my values anymore. And I wanted to create my business in a different way that would allow for more freedom and as far as like time freedom too, and not having to sit on all these calls all the time, and being really clear that my time is my greatest currency, knowing that, people that come into the Bloom Beyond tribe and the kind of people that I serve, they're there for a reason, and that they are committed to grow, right? That they see the value in growth, that you see the value in your growth, see the value in overcoming perfectionism. So I've designed my programs and everything around that are automated and be able to really just truly serve from that place. So this is just to give you some ideas around how I'm thinking about values and principles. Take some time to really look into that for yourself. Then we have another lesson, which is the most important question you can ask yourself is, who am I becoming? So the reason why I say this is because oftentimes you think to yourself, who am I right now? Like, who am I right now? And I think that it's essential to also ask yourself, who am I becoming? And then taking kind of action from the place of knowing that you already are that in which you are becoming. When you imagine it, your imagination is the most powerful faculty in your mind. When you imagine it, you are that in which you imagine, okay? So being aware of the mental images and words that you use can really, really change things for you, for the better or the worse, depending on what kind of mental images you're entertaining, right? So what comes after I am is what you create. So I encourage you to ask yourself, who am I becoming? With the choices and the decisions and everything that I'm doing right now, who am I becoming? right? Not who am I becoming when I'm doing this? And is this in alignment with my values and principles? Yes or no? And if it's not, then you know that there is room for growth. You know that there is room for introspection and a reflection and action that you can take in alignment with that to go beyond that situation, right? So that is that. Beautiful, beautiful. And here is the 10th lesson. So life is seasonal, and the best thing to do is surrender to the season you're in and not forcing yourself into a season you're not meant to grow through now. So yeah, life is seasonal, and that is exactly why the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program is split into 5 main seasons of wilt, fall, root, rise, and bloom. And I see that this is cyclical, right? It goes in this cycle, right? It goes round and round in circles, and we oftentimes think that, we are on a journey to come to some sort of like nirvana state where we're constantly blooming and we'll never ever wilt again. But oftentimes that is what happens, right? Pretty much every single time that is what happens. You grow through these different seasons, and once you bloom, at some point you then learn certain lessons through blooming, and then you kind of get the opportunity to grow again in a different way from that place. And that has been the case for me with perfectionism. I kind of, went through the seasons of wilt, root, rise, and bloom from wilt, where I was wilting as a perfectionist. I felt really drained because of the perfectionism. I grew through the different seasons, I bloomed, and now I'm learning new lessons, new things about myself. And I believe that's been the biggest, cycle for me, at least, as far as lessons is concerned, is blooming beyond perfectionism. That changed a lot for me as far as energy and me being able to now, feel like the world is my oyster and that I can actually make intentional choices, not based on others' values, but on my own. So that's why I'm so freaking passionate about this, right? But just recognize that life is seasonal, right? Life is seasonal. And where you are right now is exactly where you are meant to be. You're meant to learn something here, right? And you can surrender, and the lesson will reveal itself to you through your subconscious, yeah? Wonderful. So the 11th lesson is intuitive messages come through signs, synchronicities, and dreams. Trust them and let them guide you. This takes bravery and faith in the unseen. So I've come to learn that these signs and synchronicities and these dreams, they are intuitive messages. And I have been able to open myself up to this intuition through overcoming perfectionism. When you're stuck in perfectionism, you're living more in your head and your rational and analytical mind than you are living in your body. And there's no sense of connection between the two. You're very dissociated from the body and the bodily sensations, and thus also the intuition. See? And so in the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program, that is my cat, by the way, in the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program, in the Rise season, that is only when we're covering intuition, because there's so many different things, especially like ripping out the perfectionism as well as also, coming back to thyself, knowing thyself, and planting new seeds in the ground in your mind to also, grow the essential true version of yourself, right? From that place, and building mycorrhizal networks and coming back to your worthiness. All of that is so crucial before intuition is ever going to be a topic, right? Before intuition is going to open up to you. So trust that. Once you open yourself up to intuition, there are so many different things that can come through, and that can guide you in your life, right? So that is that. And then we have the 12th lesson, which is your magnetism is activated through you overcoming perfectionism. Yeah? So you are a magnet, but that magnet is not able to really function properly when perfectionism is covering the magnet up, right? There's not enough polarity there. when you are in your essence, your polarity just absolutely goes boom, like it just attracts things so much more easily because you're not striving and pushing and proving and pleasing all the time. You are basically just allowing yourself to be in your core essence and in your frequency, and from that place you can attract and manifest that in which you truly want. Yeah, that in which you truly want. So you are a magnet, right? You are truly a magnet, and it can only reveal itself, right? Reveal itself when you overcome perfectionism. The next lesson, the 13th lesson, is that you are not defined by your feelings and thoughts. You're the observer of your feelings and thoughts. So oftentimes you can intertwine your feelings, your anxieties, your fears, your this and that, right? The shame, hi, Martine, with your worthiness and with your sense of self, right? And so when you do that, you're not able to observe in the same way that you did before, right? You're not able to observe what you're going through and what you're growing through. So being able to actually see that you are not your feelings, you are not your thoughts, it can help you out in life. Like it can truly be such a revelation to recognize that. And I think that a big thing to do is to just be connected with your body again, right? Through yoga, through meditation, through being here right now, tuning into your breath, going from, your kind of sympathetic stress response to being in the parasympathetic nervous system in your rest and digest system to really connect from that place. And from that place, you are able to observe more. Yeah? You're not that reactive anymore. You're more responsive. Okay? The 14th lesson is that you have all the answers within. You truly have all the answers within. And I know this as a coach as well, that I, as a coach, do not sit with the answers. Oftentimes, as a coach, I get asked all these questions like I'm the one with the answers, but you truly have the answers. I'm just the one to ask you powerful enough questions to activate those answers within you so that you can see that for yourself. And also, oftentimes, you're just not ready to face the truth, right? Or you are looking for signs and synchronicities subconsciously, or you're looking for a teacher or a guide to help you gain the bravery to face the truth, to face what the answers are within you. So that is really what we're doing as, coaches, and as a coach, as a light worker. That is my job. I'm not responsible for you, I'm responsible to you. Yeah, so that's that. And then we have the 15th lesson, which is feelings of emptiness and numbness is a sign of not living in alignment with the sunflower and bloomer within, right? And I see this all the time with, perfectionists or high performers with perfectionism, that you could actually have emptiness and numbness because you've dissociated from the body and you're living in your head. When you live in your head and you act from that place and you're constantly thinking about what you should do and have to do over what you want to do and what you choose to do, like you become empty at some point. You become numb at some point because you dissociate from it, from what you actually want, what it actually is that you would want to choose to do. I know this for myself too, that, when I was stuck in this hamster wheel of perfectionism and running all the time, staying busy, being, in this kind of state of grinding and hustling all the time, at the end of the day though, I felt empty. I felt numb because I was not in alignment with my core values, right? I strived for performance. I did things in order to in order to feel good, in order to be something, in order to feel worthy. And it's only when you do something for the sake of it that you can start gaining satisfaction in your life, that you can start feeling things, right? So, and I think that one thing I wanted to point out too is that when you're numb and feeling empty, do not expect that you can go from that state to blissed out, loving and joy all the time. Those are not very close as far as the different emotions are concerned and the different vibrations. If you look at the scale of consciousness by David Hawkins, you can actually see how we're really just meant to evolve through these different kind of emotions, from the low vibrational emotions to the kind of mid emotional frequencies to the high vibrational frequencies. And oftentimes you're just not going to go from the low vibrational emotions all the way up through this kind of scale. You grow through the different ones, basically. Yeah, and that is how you tune into different vibration, different frequency. See? All right, so that is that one. And another one that I wanted to mention is that you overestimate what you can do in a year and underestimate what you can do in a decade. See? So oftentimes you put a lot of pressure onto yourself as far as what do you think that you can do in, a couple of months, a couple of days, a week, and a year. You think that you can do all these different things and that your life is completely going to change in that year. What I've come to recognize, growing and gaining more wisdom is that, long-term growth is incredibly fulfilling, right? But it takes time. It takes integration. And we're not meant to put all these pressures onto ourselves about what we should do and where we should be at a certain time. How are we meant to know that? We agreed before we came into this human experience to have certain experiences to grow in order to develop, right? And so being able to just recognize that and see that, we have certain lessons that we are going to go through and grow through, and kind of having like a long-term lens rather than a short-term lens, it can truly, truly, truly just make your life so much more fulfilling because you don't have that stress and that anxiety around having to do certain things by a certain time. Just release yourself from the outcome, right? That is a big part in overcoming perfectionism. Allowing yourself to detach from the outcome, especially the short-term outcomes. Knowing that there is a long-term kind of thing at play here, right? That's that one. And then let's see here, the 17th one. Lesson is that your worthiness is your birthright. It is not to be intertwined with your performance. So when you're stuck in perfectionism, right, you are intertwining your performance, what it is that you're doing, how well you're performing with your worth. You equal your worth to what you're doing. And so if you're not doing certain things, if you're not staying busy, if you're not showing up the way that you want to, you feel really bad about not only yourself and what you do, but you just don't feel worthy, right? I've come to recognize that your worth is your birthright, right? No matter what you do, how much you earn, you are never, ever going to, be able to purchase or earn your worth because you are already worthy. See? And I see this with millionaires and even more than that, I see this with so many people who have ticked off all the boxes, done what they think that they should, and then what happens? They end up feeling numb and empty because they don't feel in alignment anymore. They don't know what else to strive for now that they've ticked off all the boxes. When in fact, your worthiness is already present right here, right now. See? All right. The next one, the 18th lesson, is the elements of nature is the greatest teacher. So oftentimes I've, learned to just surrender, just be here right now. and just look at the nature. I'm just seeing the trees outside flowing in the wind, and I kind of like learned something from that. I've learned an incredible amount from nature, also from creating the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program by looking at the sunflower and how a sunflower freaking functions, right? You look at the soil, you look at the roots, you look at the stem, you look at the flower with the petals on it, and how it actually grows in its environment, and that it is impacted by all these different factors that are out of your control. And knowing that you are the very same as a sunflower, as a bloomer, you surrender more. You learn so much from nature if you just open your eyes and let yourself learn. So if you are constantly running on a hamster wheel, doing all these things, step back, go outside in nature, take a walk, take a bath, be in the elements, take a swim if you can. Walk barefoot on the ground, feel the sensations around you. That is what nature can teach you. Through the sensations, you can learn lessons that are really valuable. Then the 19th lesson is commitment and courage comes before capability and confidence. Focus on making commitments and practicing courage, and then capability and confidence will come. So this could be an entire video in and of itself. But the thing is that oftentimes you expect that you're meant to have the capabilities and be confident before you do something new, before you take a risk, before you start a relationship, exit a relationship, start a business, stop being involved in a business, right? Before you do something, you expect that you're going to have the confidence to do so before you do it, that you're going to have the capabilities as well. But I've come to recognize that you actually get the opportunity to have a sense of commitment that you're going to do it. And it is also required to have a sense of courage to do it. And through that, then you can begin to get the capabilities and the confidence from that place. Does that make sense? For me, that makes a lot of sense, because when I look at the things that I've done in the past, right, which, have made me grow, oftentimes I actually was really scared to do certain things, and I felt some fear around making certain decisions that were either unpopular or that I didn't have any proof around, but I did them anyways. Why? Well, because I made a commitment to myself to do it. I made a commitment. And I also had the courage to go through with it. And then I got the confidence as I did it, right? As I began to see the results from it. Over time, that gave me a sense of confidence. But that kind of season of being in commitment and courage can oftentimes last for years before you begin seeing something come out of it. You can see the harvest. Even think about a bamboo tree, man. Think about a bamboo tree. Bamboo trees are actually growing underneath the ground. Even though they're not apparently growing, they are growing underneath the ground for 4-5 years before they actually shoot through this soil layer and shoot up, straight up. And they grow, I don't know how much, but they grow a lot in that 5th year. It's like the bamboo prepares itself and grows inwardly before it shoots up. See? And I think that says something. I think that says a lot about having commitment and courage to be in that state of inward growth before you release and go outwardly. You know what I mean? So that is another lesson that I wanted to share with you. Then the 20th lesson is that relationships can only be truly fulfilling when you are fulfilled within yourself. And not only your relationships, your career and what you're doing as well is also more fulfilling when you are fulfilled within yourself, right? Again, everything is a mirror, as above, so below. And when you're able to find a sense of fulfillment with who it is that you show up as being, right? Who it is that you are when you look into the mirror, connecting with your eyes and truly seeing how beautiful your soul is, that you came here for just being present, because your presence has purpose. When you recognize that your presence has purpose, it just truly is like such a relief. It is such a relief, and it makes your life more fulfilling. The 21st lesson I wanted to share is that wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. And that is a lesson that I have learned through, traveling. I've traveled a lot. I've traveled the world for years. And when I first started, I actually think that, I just wanted to explore. I just wanted to learn more about the world and about myself in the world and see what's possible out there. And I did. At some point, though, I actually recognized that wherever I go, there I am. And I'm always going to meet myself in the mirror wherever I am in the world. And so instead of thinking that some external location or circumstance is going to change something for you, even though that the environment is really powerful and affecting you, I don't think that is the most essential thing, because you can grow an immense amount by being with yourself wherever you are, right? Hugging yourself wherever you are, seeing yourself as who you are, and treating yourself with kindness wherever you are in your journey, because wherever you go, there you are. You cannot run away from thyself, from yourself. Okay. Then the 22nd lesson is your expression is your greatest form of nutrition. So what I mean by that is that oftentimes, we think that, if we just meet our physical needs, food, shelter, money, a certain amount of money, that is our nutrition. But I found that the greatest nutrition is truly in our expression. And I learned this from a guy called Heinz, where, you truly can come back to center when you express yourself. Your creativity, your sense of contribution to the world that is authentic to you, that feels good to you, that is in alignment with your values and principles, that is nourishment for your soul, for the sunflower and bloomer within you. Right? So shine that light, and allow yourself to express yourself, because that is your nutrition, your greatest nutrition. Furthermore, the 23rd lesson is connecting with your breath is the greatest portal to access your subconscious mind. So what I mean by that is that oftentimes when you're stuck in perfectionism, you're breathing up here, right? You're breathing in your chest and in your shoulders, and you have a lot of tension around it. And so when you're able to breathe from your diaphragmatic breathing, and you're able to truly just recognize your breath, right? Just recognize it in your day-to-day, from moment to moment, here and there during the day, that is a portal to the subconscious. Because when you're in a state of stress and overthinking and rumination and all of these perfectionistic tendencies, you cut yourself off from source. You cut yourself off from the universal intelligence, whatever you want to call it. You cut yourself off from the energy that gives you ideas, that gives you revelations, that gives you hints and insights and reflections. So being able to connect with your breath is something that I'd encourage you to do. Obviously, that is why, meditation is a thing. It's just like simply reflecting upon the breath and connecting with the breath, right? Observing the thoughts, observing the feelings. Those are not you. You are not that. You are the observer. The 24th lesson is that self-responsibility and self-accountability is a gift. Oftentimes, we might want others to make certain decisions for us. We're waiting for the ball to drop or for something to occur that just drastically shifts things for us. But you are your greatest responsibility, and you are the one to be responsible for yourself. This is a gift to recognize. It truly is a gift. And obviously you can understand it logically, but when you understand it in your bones, in your flesh, that you are responsible for your life, for your business, for whatever you're doing, it's not meant to put pressure onto you. It is meant to expand you, to give you a sense of purpose, give you energy, right? It's meant to really just allow you to live aligned, yeah? Live in a fulfilling and meaningful way. So you are your greatest responsibility. And from that place, instead of reacting to things and projecting onto others and blaming others for your circumstances, take responsibility for yourself, your situation, where you are. It's a gift. It truly is. Furthermore, the last lesson that I wanted to share, integrity is built through keeping small promises with yourself. What I mean is that you actually can build a sense of integrity and you can begin to trust yourself and have faith in yourself when you just keep small promises instead of focusing on these big, grand things. When you just allow yourself to just like act on the small little things that are meaningful to you in your day-to-day and kind of align to that, that can allow you a sense of peace that you cannot get from kind of striving for all these like huge things in your life. You know what I mean? You actually grow your relationship with yourself, your sense of sunflower and bloomer within by really truly acting upon and keeping the small promises, like the promise of, showing up for yourself and giving yourself some good food, cooking for yourself a little bit maybe, journaling a little bit if that is something that calls your heart, or doing a little yoga, or going for a walk, or expressing yourself in a certain way that you wanted. Because what I've found is that if you have certain things that you want to do, that you say that you're going to do, and you don't do them over and over and over again, that tears down your sense of kind of confidence in yourself, yeah? And your sense of integrity and self-trust. And I think that perfectionism truly is the greatest block because of this. Oftentimes, procrastination and perfectionism is exactly what hinders you in building that integrity with yourself and keeping the small promises with yourself, as well as the bigger promises with yourself. So I invite you to join the Bloom Beyond tribe. Go and apply at bloombeyond.com/apply if these different lessons resonated with you, or just a few of them. And, I might be able to serve you and help you overcome perfectionism. I'm confident that I can, because I've done that with so many already through the offerings that I also give. And it's a monthly cohort, right? With 256 members limit. So, there's a waiting time involved once you apply, right? And cannot promise that you will get in, but if you just kind of show your sense of commitment to grow, to overcome perfectionism, and that this is something that is really meaningful to you, that would, be something that would be for you, and that you would take part in this Bloom Beyond rebellion that I'm creating here, kind of allowing more and more people to wake up, right? To wake up to the light and the sunflower within, then you are invited to apply. So go ahead, bloombeyond.com/apply, and I might see you on the other side. So now I'm going to celebrate the rest of my birthday to the fullest, and I might actually take you along with me in another video on the different things that I'm going to do during my little rebirth ceremonies that I'm going to be growing through today. So have a good one, and as always, stay bright, brave, and balanced.